Morning everyone, and thank you for joining me on the Sage Intelligence Reporting webcast. Today I'm going to take you through creating consolidation connection, and this is part 9 of our X Factor report writer series. It's a series where I'm trying to upskill report writers, and you can go and check that X Factor playlist out and learn more on Sage Intelligence. My name is Carmen, and I'm the product specialist for intelligence reporting. Just so that you are aware, today's webcast will be recorded and provided to you via email. All participants are muted for the duration of the webcast, but you can ask questions in the Q&A control panel or email me afterwards at carmen.griesel@sage.com. So what I'd like to cover today I'm going to show you how to create those connections in the connector module. Then I'm going to show you how to create a consolidation report for the financial report designer and how you can use that. Finally, I'm going to give you screen dumps and explain how you can consolidate databases for the financial report designer from different locations. So we'll take you through that at the end. Firstly, the connector module. Just so that you are aware, we have loads of webcasts on the connector module, but if you're looking to create a consolidation connection, there's a few things you need to do. You need to go into the connector module, obviously, and create a new connection. From there, you can then use your auto connect system, as well as select that is going to be a consolidation connection, and I'll take you through that in a moment. Then in the report manager, you need to export the latest financial report designer to save to your desktop, for instance, and then re-import it. We re-import it so that you can connect it to that consolidation, your consolidated connection. And that's how you can then pull in multiple companies. To make sure that you got the latest report designer, always check your sageintelligence.com/report utility tool. That will then give you any of the latest reports that we have and the latest report designer that you may need to use. And then we'll come back to the consolidating databases in different locations after the demo. So let's get started. So you may have seen that those screen dumps were in an evolution database or integration that I was busy working in, and now just to show you that this is possible in all the different integrations, I'm working from Pastel Partner. Now if you're in 100, 500, you can do it in X3, you can do it in 300. You can create a consolidation connection using your connector module. Obviously you need a license for the connector module, and if you're creating and running out consolidation reports, you need the connector module license. Just to confirm that you have the latest report designer, you would use the report utility tool to check that you've got the latest report designer, and any reports that you don't have will automatically be ticked, and you can download them and they'll be placed into your report manager. So I'm going to close that for now. So the first step that I would take you through is actually checking to see if your integration actually has a consolidation connection. Now, if I go to Enterprise, my mouse is playing up, and I double click, you may have a SQL connection, or for Pastel Partner, we have an pervasive ODBC database. So as you can see, we already have one for Pastel Partner. But in Evo, as I mentioned, you don't have one. So you may want to add your own connection. So to do this, you select the database type that you're creating or connecting to, and you go to add a connection. From here, you would give your connection a name. So I'm going to type in here just consolidation connection. Okay. And you would then need to enter in the server details in the database, or you can use the auto connect system, which is what we suggest you do. And then you click add. As you can see, now you have a new connection, and unlike the Pastel Partner connection, it already has a report designer underneath it. If you're wanting to add your data containers to this, I would import a report using the report manager. that will then create those data containers for you automatically, or import them for you. To make this a consolidation connection, which we haven't already done, you need to click on Show Advanced. Once you've done that, you click on Consolidation Connection. Then click Apply. Now we've got our consolidation connection, and if I double click on, you can see we've got no containers underneath it. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the Report Manager, and I'm going to open up my node. Okay, and under the financial reports, you can see, the designer, you can see I've got a financial report designer 1.4. Now, remembering that if you export this and it's locked, you're going to import it and it'll be locked. So what I suggest you do is you make a copy of it. So you can right click copy, and then I want to paste it into the designer, paste. Oops. Let's just do it again. Right click, paste. And I'm just going to refresh that. And there you can see the copy of that report. Now that means the report is actually unlocked. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to export this report and import it into a separate folder. Now the reason I say a separate folder is because we're going to go into the sub-reports. And if I look at the designer's folder and all the sub-reports that are hidden, you'll see there's quite a lot to go through, and you don't want to mess around with all those sub-reports. So by clicking on the folder and going to Tools, I can toggle Hidden Reports, and you can see there's loads of sub-reports there that I don't necessarily want to go and try and find the correct one. So what I can do is I can create a new folder. Okay, so I'm going to create a new folder first, and I'm going to say webcast. Okay, and that's going to create my folder where I'm going to import this copy of this financial report designer. So to export this report designer, all I need to do is go to Tools, Export, and select a place to save that. I'm going to save it on my desktop. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and place it into my new folder. So as I click on the folder, you can see import becomes available, and I can go and select that copy of that report. Now you can change the report name there, but we'll change it inside once we've imported the report. The key here is to actually link this report to your consolidation connection that you've just created. So I'm going to target connection, and I'm going to select consolidation connection, and I'm going to click on import. Do you want to specify a new name? Yes. And I'm going to just type, I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to change that to console, and I'm going to click OK. I'm going to say no, I want to create a new one, and at the end here I'm going to type in console. So what this doing is basically putting in containers, and I want to make sure the new containers are there for me to use. Okay, and now what I want to do is I want to double click on this, and you can see the report is there now available. What I do suggest you do is, as you can see, I copied that name previously, and I want to go and add it to the description. Now the reason I'm doing this is to know what version of the actual report designer I'm using, and that's one way to do it, is just make a copy of the name and the version of that report. Now I can go in and change the name, so I'm going to say Consolidated FRD. Now I'm just going to put, yeah, and I click apply. Now it's asking me to change the template name, and I'm okay with that, so I'm going to click OK. And now my report name and my template name are the same. Now you've created a consolidation connection Okay, and if we go back, because we imported that report, you can now see we have data containers available for us to actually view the data as a consolidation report. So I'm just going to check test this, and everything's happy. I'm now going to go in and I'm going to add the different companies that I want to pull into this one report. To check what companies I have available, okay, remembering that if you want to consolidate 3 different companies, you need to have opened up your company into the integration that you want, and then open up the report manager. That will then cache that company, and then you can open up the second company. To view the different companies that you've got, you go to the home node, and you can see here under tools, tenant cache becomes available. Click on that and click on view. As you can see, I've got 2 different databases that I'll be connecting today, and that's how you can see whether you are able to access that database or not. So to get your new database into this tenant view, all you need to do is open up the integration with that company and then open up the report manager. So I'm going to close that, and here comes the part where you need to consolidate the report. So I'm going to click on my folder, and I'm going to click on toggle hidden reports so that my reports are now available. Depending on the integrations, you may have a few more sub reports, but luckily Pastel Partner don't have that many. When you click on the sub report, you'll notice something different. You'll notice that the database consolidation list is now available for you to use. So what you can do is you click on the ellipsis and then you select your companies. Now you have to do this for all the sub reports. And the last one. Okay, great. Now what we can do is run this report out. So I'm going to home and I'm going to click on the run button. Okay, so let's go and have a look at that report now. If I click on my Excel and open up my Excel workbook, you can now see that I have a Financial Report Designer report open. Okay, and where you see the difference now is that if you go to lists, it's just playing up, one moment. Let's just go back. There we are. If you go to lists and you click on the company name, you can then see the different company names in that particular list, and you'll have your duplication of your companies. Now I've already created a report for us to use. Okay, as you can see, if I go to lists, you've got your multiple companies loaded, and if I go into the sub reports, for instance like accounts, go across, you can see if I put a data filter on here, I've got multiple companies now placed into one worksheet. So that then allows me to go in and actually then create consolidation reports. Some things to note, okay, when creating a consolidation report is, firstly, because you're using the Financial Report Designer and it was created for an individual company, we do not recommend that you use the BI tools and the layout generator to create layouts. Okay, what we do suggest you do is actually create it using the task pane. Now, if you were using just the category codes, you could use the layout generator, but as I mentioned, it's easier just to create it using the task pane. Just to show you a few examples of consolidation reports, I've got this one at the top, okay, which is a consolidated view of all 3 companies, and you can see if I just unhide, make sure that companies unhide. As you can see, my company is blank, and what that means is if my formulas are referencing a blank cell for the companies, all the companies inside this workbook will be consolidated and returned the values for you. If, for instance, I'm just pressing escape, you have selected a company name at the top, you can see it will only pull in those companies' details. Just click another one and you can see it's pulling in those companies' details. Also something to note, if you want to use your actual account level detail, you would then need to make sure that all the companies have the same account numbers. And I've done a previous webcast on consolidations and creating layouts, so you can check that webcast out and learn some more there. As you can see, I have the 3 different companies alongside each other, each of them looking at the company name at the top. Let's do the next one and the next one. And you can see then it populates all the information for me per company. And again, this is at a category level. Just to show you some additional features, okay, and how it works, if I click on New Sheet, and I'm in my lists, I'm clicking on Software Sales, and I'm going to click on Accounts. So I'm going to click and drag that in. That then gives me all the accounts for my company. So if my companies have different accounts structures, I can then place them alongside each other and then create a financial report from that. So remember, once you finish customizing your report, you'd always go back and save your report by clicking on the Union Report and click Save Excel Template. Now, while we're here, what I do want to do is I want to take you through how you would create a connection to another database that is sitting somewhere else other than where your current database is sitting. So sometimes you have multi-sites and you want to consolidate or create a consolidation report. You can do this using the connector module and the financial report designer to pull that information in. Again, you need to make sure you've got a connection, okay, to that database. So you would create another consolidation connection. I'm just going to say different server. I'm going to use AutoConnect. I'm going to add it. I'm going to select consolidation. Again, yes, I do. Again, you would need to go in and import the financial report designer. So you're pulling in those data containers inside this new connections to that other database on a new server. So you would go to your report manager, you click on webcast consolidations. You're going to import your financial report again, click open, and I'm going to now select my different server and then click on import. Okay, now what that does is, if I just refresh that, you can see I've got a duplicate of all the sub-reports. And if I click on them, one is populated in the database consolidation list and one isn't. So what we need to do is, firstly, we don't need this union report because we're going to place these new sub-reports underneath the union report that we previously created, okay, which allows us to have one sub-report looking at your current and your local database and another one looking at a different server. So firstly, I'm going to remove this by right-clicking and deleting that report. And then I'm going to go and change the consolidations to select both companies. So I'll need to do that for all the sub-reports again. Okay, so now what the trick is you need to add those new sub-reports to this union report. So under the union sub-report, I'm going to go and add my new sub-reports. I have a little trick that I do. I normally go in and I actually see the numbers that have actually been imported. So it's 296. So now underneath my consolidation, I'm going to go add. I'm going to sort by ID, and if I go down to 296, we've got 297 and 8, 299, and then it was 300, 301, and 302. Click OK. Let's move these to the right places. Balances goes to balances. Okay, so as you can see, I've got duplicates of all those reports, and now all we need to do is change that output sheet. So let's just try that again, and that is going to be 6, and that one is going to be 7. That one's going to be 5. That's 4. My PC is taking its time, and that is 3. Okay, so now that I've got them all going out into the same worksheet, the only thing I would definitely change is the first report at the bottom, okay, or the last report, has parameters on it to pull in the years. So because both of those reports have parameters, I would remove the one that you've sub-report that you've basically imported. I can then run this report out, and what will happen is both of those sub-reports for accounts will both go onto sheet 1, and then the balance sheets would go into sheet 2, so that you can then create that consolidated report. So just to show you that in slides, just go there quickly. Okay, as you can see, this is an Evo one that I've done it in. You've got the consolidated union report, and then you've got the duplicates of the sub-reports there. And then you can see the output sheets, the individual sub-reports need to go together, so that when you pull that report data, everything's sitting together inside Excel. Please note, you can find the X Factor webcasts on your learning portal. So all you need to do is go to the learning portal and click on your integration, and you'll find your X Factor playlist under the advanced tab. So if you want more information, you can go to sageintelligence.com or learning.sageintelligence.com for the learning portal. Or if you want to learn more on Sage Intelligence, you can go to sageintelligenceacademy.com, and you can take up a few of our courses. We have some free courses on there in Excel, as well as getting started with Sage Intelligence. We love feedback, so if you found this webcast useful, please do like it and then share it on your social media channels. Thank you.